I'm fascinated by the foundation of the Bitcoin blockchain and the design. If you want to read an amazing book or listen to an audiobook, it's called The Book of Satoshi, and it's the collected emails of Satoshi Nakamoto. Super impressive and amazing, and very helpful to understand the first principles of blockchain. I'm fascinated about trust and the truth. Right? So I feel like people misunderstand the blockchain, and people think the blockchain is a database. And while it is a database, it's like the least meaningful way of thinking about it. The most meaningful way, I think, of thinking about it is it's a technology for solving an incredibly hard problem, which is how do you transact if you don't trust the medium of transaction, right? So how do you move money through intermediaries, none of whom you trust, and how do the intermediaries then work with each other, even though the intermediaries don't trust each other either, right? So to me, that's an amazing technology solution, and in fact, it puts the entire crypto economy on a solid foundation, right? Which is that it's the Bitcoin blockchain protects everyone thermodynamically and economically through proof of work, and it's very, very airtight. It's a very beautiful and elegant construct. I think the next big thing is a huge phase transition, and a phase transition is a change from the early adopter to the early majority. And that, if you look at a book like Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore, famous technology book, it talks about that complete inflection point, which is the early adopters are kind of crypto anarchists and crypto libertarians and hackers, and there's a lot of kind of intense passion and craziness. But the early majority, that's a completely different group of people, and that's what happened in the birth of the original internet, as we saw with the Netscape moment. You know, we have things now like a Coinbase, which is like, which your parents can use, or, you know, it's very, very easy. And now we're like seeing a phase where we're going to see hundreds of millions of cryptographic wallets attached to App Store apps like games, or attached, and people won't, they'll see them as loyalty currencies, or they'll think of them as in-game points, but they won't think of them as Bitcoin. So Bitcoiners, I think, are really kind of part of a early adopter phase. And I think the next big thing is mass social adoption, which I think is inevitable as a function of seeing like hundreds of millions of user apps that are starting to now integrate cryptocurrency and integrate tokens. So there are several things going on with the market. One of them, the obvious one, is there's actually a lot of selling. And what is the nature of the selling? So one of the biggest sellers is actually the Mt. Gox custodian. So, you know, there was a hack. There's a legal custodian in Japan who's selling Bitcoin at high volume. That selling has stopped. The second factor is that ICOs have raised about $6 billion USD worth of crypto. And now those ICOs are hiring thousands of talented engineers and product designers. They're paying those people using fiat dollars. So what's happening is that all those ICOs are now selling into fiat in order to pay the engineers and pay their rent and buy groceries and allow them to live their lives, right? So that's a conversion point from crypto to fiat. So there's exiting of currencies. There's a certain amount of leaking going on. But to me, the thing that's extremely exciting is the potential for all of those talented people, thousands of talented startups, for some of them to build goods and services and crypto economies that users will enjoy, that they will value, and that those economies will then fuel the rise of the next wave of crypto. So I think that's the exciting phenomenon. At the moment, we're really spending a lot of money on this huge talent grab, and those talented people are now building things that will fuel the next wave. Because I feel like, and that is actually causing a decline, because ultimately all of those people need to be paid, right? So they're all exiting to fiat, and that's part of the phenomenon.